Hi everybody, welcome to our Sunday live. Today is a really odd one, because we are a paper crafting group ostensibly, but today there is no paper. There is actually not one bit of paper on my desk, because today we're talking wool and felting. And those of you that watched yesterday, can I just say before I go on that not Mr. Green, no, his girlfriend, Edith Holden, the Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady, the big mini album that I made is for sale on eBay, and it's coming to an end in about 8 or 9 minutes, something like that. So if you wanted to bid on that, you are excused. You may go bid on that, but come back and join us. And yeah, that's that. So today we are looking at felting, more specifically needle felting. This piece here, I showed it to you yesterday, is what you call wet felted. And I prefer that technique above any of the felting techniques. You get a really nice, soft, rich texture to it. But wet felting, I don't even know how we could set up for it, because it is a very splashy type of thing, so I couldn't do it here. I'd have to take you to the kitchen, I think. Anyway, we're not doing wet felting today. We're doing a different kind of felting called needle felting. Now then, Jen, you do right to have your first aid kit at the ready, because it's a well-known thing that this sort of needle felting. I've lost my needles, so I won't have any injuries. Here they are. You need a sponge. This is a car washing sponge. It's not ideal. You can get these blue sponges which are very dense and made, I don't know if they're made specifically for it, but they're perfect for it. And you need a needle. These ones haven't been used for so long that they've actually gone rusty. But that one's not too bad. That one's all right. And what they are, they have a little sort of handle at the top. That's the top. And grip it there. Don't grip it down here, down this end here. It's dangerous. And you won't be able to see, because I can barely see them. There are little barbs, like rose thorns, sticking out on this bottom section here, and that helps too. When you push this in, you can hear it there as it goes, the barbs go in. It pushes the wool fibres into the felt, into the sponge, so you have to periodically pull it off the sponge, otherwise you'd felt your thing to the sponge for all time. So that's that. So what happens is you get yourself a bit of, let's have a look. This is very organised. Yeah, you get yourself a bit of felt, but I think a bigger bit than that would be in order of the day. This is not ordinary felt, although you can use ordinary felt, but you get much better results if you use a thing called pre-felt. And it's generally mostly wool. The all wool ones are the best. This feels like it might be all wool actually. And it's more open texture, more open, it's not woven, so open texture, rather than felt that you'd buy for your children or whatever. And if you just buy the cheap stuff that you would give to your children to play with, you'll have a hard time making it felt, because it's all acrylic and it just doesn't want to, the fibres don't want to split. So let's just have a look at the rudiments of this. So I've got my sponge, I've got my bit of pre-felt, and I've got my felting needle. And pretty much that's all you need really. You need something to attach to it. So let's just use another bit of pre-felt. Actually, that's just so garish, I don't think I can bear it. Let's use this little bit of dark blue here. No, I like it. Let's use, I like everything I've got. Oh, there's a bit of pink here, that'll do. That'll do the job, I would say. So all you do is you just repeatedly stick your needle in and pull it out. Put it in straight up, straight down, because once you start to bend it, you'll snap it. So you just repeatedly do that. And eventually you'll get repetitive strain injury, and that'll be the end of you needle felting. And periodically, as I say, pull it off the felt, because you've pushed the fibres through to the other side. Now, if I was just to cut that around there, that bit that I've just done, and add something else to it, like a little bit of purple.
James says, crafting with Miss P, the 911 episode. Or the 999 for us.
Yeah. So I'm just going to put that around there, and I'm going to needle felt that onto there. So as we've got, to bring that off the top a bit. So you can sort of join pieces together like this. No thread, no sewing, no nothing. It's great. I love it. It's so satisfying. And you can, of course, make little creatures and all sorts of things, but before you get into the world of wireframes and making creatures and stuff, I'd practice like this first if I was you. Just get the hang of it. There's not much hang to get, to be fair. You are just prodding a needle up and down. And keep your fingers out the way and go in at 90 degrees. That's the main thing I would say to you. So the more you go over that, the better your join will be. And pull it off there. And you'll see, I don't know if you can see, but it's coming through to the other side, which means it's getting locked. It's getting locked in position. So we'll just give that another little once over. So you don't want it to come apart. And as I say, there's no sewing. The only thing that's holding it is the fact that you've rammed the fibres through to the back. So you can make any design, any pattern, anything at all. Right, so that's using pre-felt onto pre-felt, and it will always work if you buy decent quality stuff. I haven't felted myself yet, I'm surprised. Right, so the other thing that you can buy that makes things interesting is this sort of thing. And these are, sorry, is that shiny? No, you can see. They're called merino tops. Merino because the merino wool. You can buy great big hanks of them. Personally, I think you're better off buying small little amounts like this, unless you know you're going to be doing a big project, and then order a lot of one colour maybe. But they, what colour do we want? Let's go for yellow. Hopefully you'll see that. And they come just twisted up, and you just take off a little bit, just a little bit like that, and then you tear it the way that it's laid. So you just pull it and it will come apart. But if you try and tear it any other way, you won't. It just refuses to move. So lay that on your beautiful bit of felting, spread it out, and felt that in. I'm sure there are needle felters. Deborah, I'm thinking of you, watching this thinking that this is not a good demonstration. Sorry, I'm doing my best. So make sure that you catch the fibres. And I don't really want these ones at the end, so I'm just going to bring them back over. Like that. Spread them out a bit. And it does take time. This is not one of these things that you do because you want a result immediately. This is kind of almost mindful, to be honest. You get into a rhythm and you just sort of go with it, and it is a lovely thing to just sit down and do. And I never feel sort of rushed or harassed while I'm doing this. It's just a really pleasant, repetitive thing to do. It ceases to be pleasant if you prick your finger because it blinking hurts. Because of the barbs, it can be really quite nasty. And as I say, some of these needles here are rusty, so I won't fancy pricking my finger particularly with them. So you can see it's starting to come through, and you could spend much longer doing that. I have they come in kits, the merino tops as well. They come in sort of little kits of colours that you can purchase. This was a seaside one. It's gorgeous. The colours are beautiful. So let's take a little bit of the white, because you'll definitely see it. So you really don't need much, and just gently pull it away. I'll just put that there, shall we? Over the top. And to really felt this would take me, because I'm not the most experienced, in as much as I haven't done it for years, it would take me quite a while really to really get it all nicely felted in. But you know, what 9 times out of 10, what's the rush? Enjoy it. Going to put that pink down a bit better.
I wonder how long does it take to make the lamb piece?
Well, it was wet felted, so it took days, because you have to do it, dry it, and then felt it some more, add some extra pieces. So yeah, it took days really. And then when it was finished, I embroidered it and machine embroidered it. So yeah, it took a long time. Did you say Jean?
Jen.
Ah. There's lots of YouTube videos on wet felting, there really is, should you really feel the urge to do it. It's a lovely thing to do. So there we are, we're beginning to get a sort of an impression of what you can do with fibres and with the most strong pre-felt pieces. But there's also a thing called Angelina. Not Angelina Jolie, just Angelina. And it comes in various colours. This one's called Hot Fix Sugar Plum. And it's really, really pinky and metallic. This one's gold. I've also got this one, which is it's a greeny sort of colour. Forest Bronze. Okay. And you can felt those in as well if you want to. So let's go with the pink one. Now this isn't wool, but it is fibrous. So it's just, you only need a tiny bit of Angelina, honestly. It makes everything really shiny. I don't know if I want it over the whole thing, but the whole thing's not going anywhere anyway. I'm not doing anything with it. It's not a picture or anything. I'm just showing you. And sometimes if you have problems attaching the Angelina, which you can, sometimes the fibres are just too thick to want to attach. then if you put just a little bit of the fibrous stuff over it again, it'll kind of trap it.
Our Dixie says, thanks for this, Fiona. I always wanted to learn. You're so enjoyable to watch.
Oh, thank you. I hope you don't find this boring, but you know what? If you do, I completely understand if you just don't watch, because it's not what we normally do, I know that. I just thought it might make nice journal covers, and it'd be totally unique, wouldn't they? Got a fly buzzing around me. So that little bit of fibre over the top of the Angelina just traps the Angelina in place, and you can carry on felting for hours if you want. Just keep adding stuff, make it slightly larger. So let's just put that away. I think I've kind of explained that to you as best as I can. Do take care with the needles, really do, honestly. I have caught myself more times than I care to admit, and it hurts and it bleeds and it's nasty, and I don't really want to do it with these rusty ones either. I think that's not a good idea. So I'll pop those back in the box, in the bag, and let's have a look at what we've got. Pull that off. See, the Angelina just gets everywhere. Well, we've obviously done some felting because some's gone through to the sponge, and that's it. I mean, you know, never intended it to be a masterpiece, but you can see, look, the Angelina is coming through, as are the other fibres. So that's a little bit about needle felting, and really it's a kind of relatively inexpensive thing to get started with. The most expensive thing obviously is the pre-felt and the fibres, and you can if you want pay quite a lot for those. I've got this bag here of mulberry silk. I can't describe to you how beautiful this stuff is. It's divine. It's I was going to say it's silky, but that's kind of obvious, isn't it, because it is silk, and it's just so lustrous and beautiful to touch, and I love it so much. That's how come it has remained intact, because I not only hoard paper, I also hoard merino tops. Actually, that's not true. A little while ago, maybe a year or so ago, we were trying to rationalise the back bedroom, and we sold some things. I sold a full, complete set of Faber-Castell gelatos. Why? I sold a complete set of Caran d'Ache crayons, and I also sold every single one, apart from this, of my felting supplies. Everything, absolutely everything. So in order to do this demo today, I've actually had to buy stuff. So which is ridiculous, because we had at least 2 black bags full, didn't we? Yeah, easily, and we just sold them. So that's that. That's needle felting, which is like I say, almost mindful, and a really nice thing to do, I think. And of course you can make pictures with it and whatever. Yeah.
Mike said he said to Jen, felting with a kit would be fun. We should pull out a kit from the library. You can guess what my next question was. How much was that?
Oh, good girl, Jen.
And Kerry's fessed up. She's just bought the Edith Journal mini album.
Kerry, oh, thank you so much. I really hope you love it. I'm sure you will, because you love Edith. That's really, I'm delighted that it's gone to Kerry. Found a good home. Excellent. So, look, here we go. This is what I've done this morning. And what I did was I bought a set of however many, 24 I think, squares of pre-felt, all different colours. And I've taken all the greens out. I haven't taken any blues out because I've got some other pre-felt that we found that would be lovely for the sky, I think. And I've embroidered some bits, put some beads on, blah blah. It's not finished, but I didn't see the need in finishing it because I don't know what I'm going to do with it anyway. So that was just using one piece of pre-felt, putting the other pieces on top and felting it down. But as you could see with needle felting, that would have taken me yonks. It would have taken me too long to do a demonstration on it. So I've gone mechanised. And this is the machine. It is a Pfaff machine. As you know, all of my machines pretty much are Pfaffs. And let's see if I can find the electricity supply. So there it is. It's I don't know, can you see that, Mr. F, or not?
No, the camera's frozen.
Oh, right, okay.
Bear with me, people. Technical issues. No, little thing's gone dead.
Oh dear. We've died.
We've died, totally died.
Oh right. Died enough for no, maybe not. I'll go walk about.
The sound's still on, like, so people can hear you talk, I think.
All right.
But
Well,
for,
I'm going walkabout.
but for some reason, everything's died. Everything's died, Mother.
Well, if it's died, there's not much we can do, is there? I can't bring it back to life.
No. Oh, hang on. Right. Get that one first.
Maybe it's the additional camera it doesn't like.
You wave your hand under. That's it. We're alright for that one now. Hold on. The one use froze for the minute, so I'll turn that off.
Okay,
But we've got the other one and we've got sound.
okay. Well, I'll carry on then. I'll carry on regardless.
You carry on regardless.
Right, so it's called Smart by Pfaff. They don't actually make this one anymore. I just had a look before I came on and it's not available. But other companies, Janome and Brother, etc., they make them. They seem to be running around £300, £400, which seems like a heck of a lot of money to me. So if you can find one second hand, so much the better. I'm just going to cut this bit off because there's no point wasting stuff, is there? And I'll try and demonstrate on this piece. It's a bit skinny, but it'll do. Right, so the first thing that we want to do is put some of the pre-felt on it. So I've just got some remnanty pieces here from before, and I'm going to put that on there like that. I'm just going to cut off the bit that I don't want and save it, because the little pieces do come in handy because you can felt those over the top. So I think that was the piece I wanted. Yeah. Can people see me down here or not? No. I'll move this out of the way then. I'll move that out of the way and then you can see what I'm doing.
I'm going to do one thing at a time, my dear.
Yeah, it's alright. I could see myself the answer to my question. Then I'm going to find a sort of mid...
I've got you back.
Oh right, I thought I was gone. I thought I was a goner.
No, you're back on, look.
Excellent. Then I'm going to put that bit sort of there. Honestly, you don't have to stick to any formula. Just what you fancy.
Move the camera that way a bit, and then we'll get more of that in. There you go, how's that?
That's better. Yeah, like I say, just a little of what you fancy does you good. That's what they say, isn't it? And let's get the greens over here so I can see what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do anyway. I think that might be all the greens I've got. Because I did take quite a lot of the sheets off to do my cover for Lorna's Among the Wildflowers book, actually. Right, I think I want quite a big bit of that. So let's cut that off about there. Put that behind those two, like that. Okay, and I don't want that square on the top, that's not what I'm after. So let's just cut that down a little bit. Just go with the flow, go with what you feel. But keep all your bits though, because they do come in handy. Then maybe a little dark green section up there. So it's, all you're doing is compiling this composition. And as I say that, I know I shouldn't have said it because a lot of you will think that that's kind of arty. It's really not. It's just putting bits of stuff down. Just think of it as that, bits of stuff. Now I want a nice light green bit at the back. So probably there, like that. I just tuck that over the top. So this machine is for if you really want to do felting kind of seriously, I suppose. Actually, I'm going to use a little bit of light green there, not that colour, lighter green. Are you all sorted with your stuff now, Mr. F?
Everything's working camera wise.
That's always a help, isn't it?
What?
That's all I wanted to know.
All right.
Right, so that's, yeah, I quite like that. It looks sort of like meadows, fields, going up and down, and you know, towards the back. And then I'm going to bring on that bit of blue that I showed you. Now this I didn't do. I bought this, and it's gorgeous, and it's just made for skies, I would have thought. So I'm going to put that on there. I'm just going to cut this little bit off up the side, because I need a little bit for in there. When it's all felted down, you won't see that. And then we'll add to it. This is the base layer, if you like, and you can keep adding and adding and adding. I'm going to take that off because it's going to fall off and it's going to annoy me. So I'm taking this to the machine. Now this particular machine is a 5 needle machine, so each time you go down and up you are doing the equivalent of sticking that needle in 5 times by hand, so it is much quicker. The thing is, however, that you end up with a fabric that is harder than the wet felted one. Wet felted one, soft, cuddly, divine, gorgeous. This, quite hard, but good for a journal cover, I would have thought. So let's put those away. Right, so this is a bit of a technique, and you will break needles whilst learning it. It goes down and up when you press the pedal. You need to be moving it, but if you move it too quickly, the needles will snap. So you need to have the machine running at quite a fast pace so the needles are going up and down. So as you're moving it, you're going to be catching the needles in the up. Don't worry too much, you'll get the hang. So you want a fair bit of speed. Sorry if the camera's bouncing. And I'm just going to kind of tack these in place really. And there is a guard on it, so you won't trap your fingers. I've never managed to anyway. And all I'm doing at the moment is just tacking around these so they're not going to come off on me. So I'm running this almost as fast as it'll go, but I'm moving the fabric quite slow, relatively slowly, not snail's pace. And don't pull your fabric out until the needles are raised completely and the sound of the mechanism, machine engine thing has stopped working. So you can see all I've done now is tacked that in, but when you look to the other side, look how much has gone through already. We're talking felting. This does it. This is the baby. So you can turn it any way you like whilst you're doing it. So you can turn it round. What I would say is don't put anything hard, don't put any beads or anything down, or sequins even, because you'll snap the needles. So sorry, this is just going to take a little minute while I do this. I won't do it to death. Just enough so you get the hang of it. You don't have to do each colour by colour. Go where you want to. Come off the edge if you want to, turn it round. I'm just getting this base on. Stopped, so now I can move it. So you can see, the base is attached. In an ideal world, you'd like that all to be covered with your fabric, so with the top fabric, so it's felted all the way through. Because at this stage, to be honest, you could come along and pull that out. It does take a bit of doing, but you could. Right, so there are sections that I've missed. There's a bit along there, I don't know if you can see that, and there's a bit down there which I've missed. So this is when your remnanty bits come in useful. So I've got this bit and that'll fit along there very nicely. Lovely, that's fine. And then there's just a little bit down there that needs, this will do. Oh, got a bit of dark green there, that'll do the job. So it's always worth keeping your remnants, really is. I know people say when they're doing journals, oh, keep every scrap. You think, where am I supposed to keep all these scraps? Furthermore, where am I ever going to find them? But with this, really, really do keep your scraps. It can be invaluable if you've just got a little bit that you need to cover. Okay, so there we are, we've kind of done that. Let's move on to the sky. Let's just have a look at this. Yeah, that's the opposite to the way I had it, but it doesn't matter. And that little bit can go in there. Yeah, so let's just pop that on in place. So if you think that every time that's going up and down, it's 5 times your needle felting with your handheld needle. So it's not like sewing, you know, I've just put that additional little piece there. I didn't have to think about raw edges or anything like that. You just put it on and you flatten it down with this machine, and the job, as they say, is a good one. Right, so let's, I would go on further than that, actually, if it, you know, but that's fine. It's still got a bit of softness to it, and it is nicely attached, so that's adequate. That's the least I would describe as adequate. I, as I say, probably would go on further than that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a bit of sort of sunlight in the sky, and I'm using the Seashore kit. I'm repurposing it. So I'm just going to take a tiny little bit of the yellow, and you really only do need a tiny bit. Maybe slightly more than that, and a little bit of the orange, and really I do mean a little bit, like that. Okay, so they are our sort of sunshine somewhere in the distance. So I'm going to put the orange down first, and I'm just going to spread the fibres out a little bit, and then I'm going to put the yellow sort of, you know, when you get clouds across the sky and it gives you sort of streakiness. That. A little bit on the bottom. It is amazing how little you need. Just along there. And get rid of some of those fibres. So we'll embellish that on and see. It all looks a bit square, doesn't it? Let's pull these out a bit. So put that on and then assess if we need more or less, or I'm just the direction I'm heading, I'm just spreading the fibres out as I go. Okay, so that looks quite effective, I think. Quite like that. Does that look alright? I can't see on the screen. Oh, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
No, I'm sorry, I can't.
It's alright, you're busy. So I'm actually now going to take a little bit of white and just put a little bit of that in the sky, just for authenticity's sake. I hope you're enjoying this, guys. I hope I'm not haven't sent you all to sleep. So it's just a little bit, just give that idea of streaky sort of clouds. Just to break up the blue. Okay, so we had a plain blue sky. Now we've got a little idea that there might be a sun there somewhere. It's a little bit watery, some yellow fibres and then some white. So we've got a bit more depth in that. And I've left this bit at the bottom quite dark because very often that is what happens with the sky. When you look at the horizon, it's quite dark along the horizon and then you get all the activity up above that. So, you know, I'm not saying this is a painting. It's obviously not. But just to break that up a little bit, that's all. Now I intend on the journal cover, you all right?
Yeah, Jen says, if you wanted to soften your lines between the shades of green, would you do the same as the sky, adding little pieces?
Yes, but the best way to do it, Jen, is with the merino tops, is with these, just to lay these over your, this, whatever you've used as your base. I just, sadly, and it's not because I'm a cheapskate, really it's not, but I think I want these to do the journal cover with, these greens that are in here. I will use some just to soften, you know, I'm moving down, that's my next move. But really, instead of the pre-felt, if you use the merino tops and built those up, you could get nice blending, really nice blending, and they would look so much better. So much like the sky looks. So anyway, you're quite right. So moving down to the grassy area, let's take these two colours that we've got. They just came in a kit of 8, so I didn't really get to choose them too much. Oh yeah, the yellow. I thought there was one. Yeah, there's a purple, a pink, this gorgeous. I love this colour actually. Sort of ochre, I suppose it is. An orange, a red, royal blue and a turquoise. So yeah, I mean, there's enough to get you out of most sticky situations that you might find yourself in the world of felting. I don't quite know what they'd be, but we've got the television on with the sound muted and I've just looked up and there's this full plate of chocolate brownies. Come on. Right, so I am just going to add, I'll start with a darker colour and I'm just going to add little bits of this to it. Just going to take a whole piece like that because I'm going to need quite a bit. Just pop that over there. And just, you know, as Jen says, try and soften it out a little bit because it's very harsh and you'll never get over that entire harshness. The only way to do it is to use merino tops. Okay, so it's started to blend it a little bit. Let's pop some more on. Just tear that there.
Kerry says you're certainly a lady of many talents.
I don't know about that, Kerry. I do not know about that.
And Andrea agrees, you're multi-talented.
Well, thank you guys, but honestly, it's all just easy things. You just need it bringing to your attention, that's all. So I'm just kind of working my way down, and you could carry on putting lots of this on there because as you can see, you put it on, it kind of disappears largely. But I don't suppose you want to sit and watch me do that, so let's move along the bus. So I've got this darker hue here, and I'm just going to pop it on that lighter bit at the back. And I don't care if it comes, I don't want it to go into the sky because that would just be ridiculous. I'm not fussed though if it comes over onto the front one. I'm just going to add a little bit more on there. You know, when you start doing this, it's totally and utterly addictive. Oh, I wonder if that would felt onto there. And you just, honestly, isn't it, Mr. F?
It is.
You spent hours doing this. And why not? You're not doing anybody any harm. The noise might distract them after a while. So you can see, I think, that we're starting to I mean, the difference between that there and that there is quite apparent. So I've got this little bit of light left, light colour left, which I'm just going to pop over there. And because the needles push it down, they try and get it they stretch it so it tries to go straight. So if you just go ahead of it, always sort of teasing them out, you'll get a softer look. Okay, so we've kind of softened that. I've missed that bit there totally. Yeah.
That was the question when that stopped.
Sorry.
I thought you'd stopped.
Yeah, sorry.
Jem wants to know, obviously the machine makes lots of holes. If you wanted it to be fuzzy after, could you run a brush or something over the top, or do you leave it as it is?
Fuzzy on the back?
No, the front.
The front? It doesn't, it's quite flat.
Yes, if you wanted it fuzzy.
Oh, if you wanted it fuzzy, I don't know, Jen.
Well, there's. I suppose you could wet felt it afterwards.
Yeah, you could wet felt it. I don't know, and I don't have a brush to hand that I could use. What you could do, just to soften it a little bit, and it's what I was thinking of doing actually, is hand needle felting, just little bits of it, because it softens it. It softens the whole thing. It looks nicer than this sort of hardness, if you know what I mean. So yeah, you definitely could do that. But what I would kind of recommend as a way forward to really soften it out is get a layer of plastic, like cling film or big plastic bag, bin bag, something like that. Put some bubble wrap down, rough side facing up. Then put this down, some more bubble wrap, rough side facing down. So you've made a sandwich of this between the two rough bits of the bubble wrap. And then another plastic thing. No, before you do that, before you put the second bubble wrap on, get some either washing up liquid or hand soap, some liquid soap of some sort, and make a solution of it. There's no set rule, you want it to be frothy, so a fair bit, I suppose, and rub it into your felt like that, and then put your bubble wrap on top and your other bit of plastic, roll it up for all it's worth, and then just keep rolling, and it will come out fluffier. Actually, even doing that's fluffed it up a little bit. So, something very waterproof on the bottom, then bubble wrap rough side up, then this facing upwards, liquid soap that you've rubbed into it, your bubble wrap bubble side down, then something waterproof, roll it up, keep sort of kneading it and working it, and open it up again and see if it still needs more. And the rough bit of the bubble wrap will actually, the friction on that, it will bring it up. It'll bring it up nicely. So you'll have the benefit of having machine made it, so it was relatively quick to do, and then hopefully you'll get the joy of the softness, a little bit of softness. It won't be as soft as a sheep one, but it should have some more softness to it. You all right?
Yeah. Could you just possibly tilt the machine that way so they can see the working part?
Which way? Oh, this way.
Yeah. It's just Mike was asking if there was feed dogs and stuff
No,
on it.
no feed dogs. It's a flat throat plate, and it's just got 5 holes in it because my machine's got 5 needles. I think that you can. Can you lift that up and show? Tilt it. That's it. Yeah, it's just a completely flat throat plate here with 5 holes that these needles enclosed in this Perspex plastic case go into on the bottom. And that's it. It's a really easy, straightforward thing. You know, there's nothing... it does take a while because you do think that there's thread involved. It takes a while to get used to the fact that there's no raw ends and stuff like that. And also that you can just spin it round, you can turn it round, you can go any way. It is a funny, it takes a little while to get used to.
A bit like free motion embroidery.
Yeah, more like free motion embroidery, definitely. Okay, so let's just add, let me just keep going with this just for a little, I won't be long. I just want you to get some impression of what it could look like. I'm just going to put loads on this bit. So yeah, I mean, since I bought mine, I think, was mine £99? I'm pretty sure it was. And they're now sort of much more expensive than that. You can, if you've got wool, you know, like this, you can felt that in, no problem, because it's wool. That will really easily felt in. Of course, I've just got grey, but any colour that you've got. I'm not making the world's best job of this, but I hope you get the idea. I will say, if you're thinking about buying an embellishing machine, hang on, I'll tell you in a minute. If you're thinking about buying an embellishing machine, make sure it's a one that you can swap the needles individually. Some makes, well, certainly when I bought mine, if you broke a needle, you had to replace the lot. It was a sort of cartridge that fitted up with the needles in it. With this one, which is pretty much what persuaded me to buy it, you can replace the needles individually. That's those. They look like sewing machine needles, but it says felting needle Inspirer.
You don't know anything to say.
Oh, sorry. Oh, dropsy. And it says felting needle along there. And I can, with this machine, just swap out one broken needle, because you do break them. It's just part of the thing. It comes with a little tiny little Allen key that you can use to take each one out and put a new one in. It also, if I can get this off, has a little, where's the little drawer?
You pull out the, no, what are you doing?
I want to get the drawer out.
It pulls off the end like that. No, above, that's it.
Ah. Yeah, there you go. Look what you get. You can get this. And you can felt that in again. That's just the scraps from today. So you can just take that out and felt it in again. In fact, I might just do that. Where shall I put this? Oops, not there. Oh, it's got quite a bit of blue in. That's maybe not a good idea. No, I'll leave that idea. But you can. That's something you can do. Right, so we've put bits of fluff over there. It's softened it a bit. You can carry on and put things on there. But what I want to do now, because ours is all about the wildflowers, I want to put some little bits of colour on there. And I want some little bits of purple. This is the only purple I've got, so it will have to do. I want masses. I don't want a very big area either, so just maybe on this front bit here. Might look like heather. So I'm just trying to spread the fibres out as best I can. I made a very good job of spreading those fibres out there. So then you have to decide, is that enough? You know, do you want more than the purple? Do you want to add some pink to it? Oh, there's a little bit there missed. Frankly, for me, that's enough. I just want this kind of hint of purple there, because I'm going to go on afterwards and hand embroider it. I know, what has come over me? I don't know who I am. But I'm going to add some pink as well, because we had pink in it. And I might just mix a little bit of pink up with a little bit of purple. So I'm just going to take that little bit of pink there.
Lisa Lancaster says, she watched you yesterday and saw the lovely felted panel you made with the sheep. She's just come on and she can't believe her eyes. A machine for needle felting.
I know!
Who knew?
Who knew? It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's a magic machine. So I'm just taking these fibres and I'm sort of breaking them up so that I'm mixing them. This is, in its rudest form, what's called carding. And you can get machines to do that, but you can also get big boards that you lay your fibres on, and then they're toothed boards. Then you get a brush and you brush it down. It mixes all your fibres up. But in essence, it does just what we've done there. It mixes your colours up. So let's go with that. And put that over another piece of grass, maybe this one here. Yeah, why not? Why ever not? I have to say, Lisa, I think it was Lisa, that I did not actually use the machine to do that sheep picture. That was done by hand.
Mike says he's going to buy some stock in embellishment machines. He's going to sell out after today.
those fibres in at the end. There's no point wasting them. Alright, so you can see it's a whole lot of fun, guys. It really, really is. I mean, you don't have to be too precise or anything. That just kind of gives the idea. But that's the base layer for your embroidery. So once you start to embroider on top of that, it'll look even more authentic. But if you're going to wet felt this when you've got it, the base layer finished, don't do your embroidery yet. Do your embroidery as the very last step. I'm just going to run over the bottom of my sky. It's not perfect. Okay, so we also had yellow. We've got yellow flowers, and I'm going to add a little bit of this gorgeous ochre. I don't want too much of it.
Jen says, love, 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 so much fun.
Oh, Jen, seriously, you need one.
And our Dixie's, she's glad that she caught it at the beginning because she can't believe how much it's changed.
Yeah, I know, and in no time whatsoever, really. It's a quick, sharp way of doing things, definitely is. And this is at its most simplest form. You can add on all sorts of things. Anything that's fibrous, pretty much, you can felt onto it. You can be, you know, well, I mean, I think we've been kind of abstract. There's no landscape I know that looks like that. But you can be as inventive as you want to with your shapes, your colours and your designs, you know, whatever's in your head, just get it out and felt it.
And if you're not sure if it felts, try it.
Yeah, try it, absolutely. You know, I'm a huge fan in just trying things to see what happens. Because largely, you know, with this, if it doesn't felt, it's just not going to felt. You're not going to damage anything. It just won't attach. You can just lift it off and say, oh, well, okay, that didn't felt.
And if you're doing a winter scene, just use cotton wool.
Yeah, cotton wool, try anything that you can think of that you think is fibrous and might stick. I might put that there, actually.
And our Dixie would like to know where we got it from, but I think any decent sewing machine shop,
Yeah,
it's very akin to...
anywhere that sells sewing machines will sell these. I'm not sure, you know, the prices in the States, what they are. I've had this, as I say, for probably best part of 10 years, maybe more actually, maybe slightly more than 10 years. And for the last certainly 6 years, maybe 7 years, I haven't looked the side it was on. It was just one of those things that we owned. I couldn't quite bring myself to part with it, so it just hung around in the back bedroom. Oh, you're getting to know what's in the back bedroom.
Jim wants to know, on the sheet piece, did you do the embroidery by hand or machine?
Bit of both, Jen. I've finished with this now. I'm going to call that done. I might do a little bit of hand embroidery just so you get the kind of idea, but I'm sure you've got the idea. So let's just move this off the desk. I haven't put any Angelina on because this journal in particular that we're talking about, it doesn't have shiny stuff in it, so I don't really want to introduce it. Not that I'm going to use this, but I'm pretending I'm going to use this. What did Jen ask?
Whether you machine or embroidered on the other one.
Oh, yeah. I hand embroidered loads. I mean, that fence there, all these little French notified things, these lines, all of this bit here. Mr. F's just brought this. This is also living in the back bedroom. This is...
I might have to pull out when
Oh,
you're
right.
nowhere near there.
Oh, okay. Might have to remove.
That's it, I think.
That's it, is it? Okay.
I'll just get rid of your
Lose my head.
Unfeasibly large head.
Yeah, this was a piece I did. It's a tarn, which is ostensibly a little sort of swelling in a river, just at the back of our house. And it was, the heather was out. So, but I never liked the sky. I don't like the sky. It probably needs unmounting from here and me to sort the sky out because I'm not overly keen. But this was wet felted, but then I embroidered the bulrushes on and I put some stones here, just, you know, as you would have at the side of a river. So, yeah, mostly that hasn't been touched after it was wet felted. Just the bulrushes and the stones, that was it. And yeah, that lives in our back bedroom as well, decorating the wall that nobody sees. This one, yeah, I hand embroidered, as I say, all of these bits here, and then I put some stabiliser on the back. Look how neat my hand sewing isn't. But it doesn't matter, who's going to see it? Then I machine embroidered round the sheep and round the trees, just to make them pop out a little bit. They could actually do with a bit more hand embroidery, you know, going away to little branches. That would look much better. But I quite like the way that I did the sun, or is it the moon, there with just this little sort of shadow on it. I quite like that. And the stitching, which I do like. So, yeah, even with all that, I didn't think it was good enough to send away for assessment. So it also lives in our back room. Right, so this is now quite sort of, it's quite firm. I mean, you obviously still bend it and whatever. And I think it would be great for a journal cover, I really do. But I am going to try what I was talking to Jen about earlier, which is kind of trying to wet felt it, really. See what happens, see what goes. How long have I been rabbiting? Oh, just over an hour, that's not too bad. So yeah, you can see the difference. This is lovely and soft when it's hand felted and very lustrous. You can see all that merino where this hammers it in. So I think a good idea is to come along with your sponge and your felting needle and do a little bit of hand felting on top of that, just to soften it a little bit. Which was the unrusty one? That one, I think. So I'm just gonna maybe use the greens to start with and just soften it a little bit. Because this is an effect I haven't perfected with the embellisher. It's either all or nothing with it. And if you wet felt this afterwards, it binds everything together. Because wool, as you know, if you apply hot water to it, shrinks. So hot soapy water is really going to make it felt together.
Oh, Dixie says she loves your top today.
Thank you. So yeah, that's just a softer sort of finish to it, and you can keep going all the way down. But let's try a little bit of purple on the bottom and see what we get with that.
Jen said earlier, when you have the retreat, there'll be many stations: felting, embroidery, watercolour, acrylics.
Well, you know, it's not one way we all go. And it's nice sometimes to do something different, isn't it? And I really, honestly, I'm not trying to just justify this, but I do think this would make a gorgeous journal cover. For Edith, possibly. So yeah, that's just softer. It's just softer. It's nice. So a little bit more of that. Just little bits at a time. Little bits. So everything has its place. The embellisher has its place. Wet felting has its place. And ultimately, hand needle felting has its place. They're all different. They all do different things. You get a different finish with each one, which is great. It means that you can do all three and achieve differences.
Lisa says the merino is lovely. The colours are amazing. Can you tell us where you get it from?
I bought it off Amazon, and I bought it day before yesterday, so it would be here in time. Bought it on Prime, so I was a bit restricted, so I would have it in time to have a little practice and then show you today what I was doing. So Amazon Prime, and it is nice actually. It's gorgeous stuff. Where's the bag? Because you can probably... Oh, we're not expecting anything off Prime, are we?
I'm not.
No, he's reversing up the road.
You're the one on first name terms with him.
I'm on first name terms with the guy from DPD. Amazon keeps sending different people. Well, I was just about to do something then. I can't remember what it was, so never mind, we'll live without it. So let's just do a tiny little bit of embroidery. I don't want to do too much because I'm dying to wet felt this and see what happens to it. So I've been through my box of embroidery silks. Look at this. It's ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. Also lives in the back bedroom. And I found two that are variegated, which I quite like, and one that's just plain purple. But I'm going to go for the variegated, and I'm going to go for the lighter colour, because usually... No, I'm going to go for the darker colour. That's a better bet. This looks like it's already been... Yeah, it's already in a knot, this one. Honestly, I'm terrible with these. Terrible. Yeah, it's in a complete knot. Let's just try. There we go. Lovely. No need to get excited. Right, so my needle. Now I'm going to use 6 strands. 6 strands, I hear you say. No one uses 6 strands. Well, I do. I want these to look quite chunky and be in your face. I don't want any of that 2-strand nonsense that you can't see. Right.
Sorry to all you cross stitches out there.
Yeah, no, I know that there is a place for 2 strands. I'm aware of that. But on my piece of felt is not it. I've never worked out how you make a knot. Never. I'm 61. I can't make knots. Never have been able to. Perhaps I should look it up on YouTube.
Which is why you'd be useless at sea.
Yeah, I'd be rubbish in the Navy. Totally rubbish.
You'd just stay still.
And I hate polishing stuff. And in the Navy, they're always polishing, aren't they? So what I'm going to do is, and I'm no hand embroiderer, I'll tell you that. You'll soon work that out. So I'm going to do what I think you call a lazy daisy stitch here. Now this is not tutorial on how to embroider, because as I say, I'm pretty rubbish at it. So I'm going to put one lazy daisy stitch there, and then I'm just going to come up a little bit. Who knows if this is going to work? I have never done this before in my life, this particular way of sewing. It may work, it may not. Has it gone thundery again, Miss Treff, or is it just me sweating again?
It could be both, of course.
It could be, they're not mutually exclusive.
They're not mutually exclusive, no.
Right.
I should check on the weather radar.
Okay.
No, there's rain on the way by the looks of it.
Rain on the way. So I'm just going to carry on doing that until I've got something that I think looks vaguely like a flower. Doesn't have to be a flower. Doesn't have to be something you could look at and go, oh yes, that's a blah-de-blah. Just something that looks kind of flowerish. For all you people that are really good at hand embroidery, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry about this. But oddly enough, although I'm rubbish, I quite enjoy it. Because it's slow, isn't it? It's slow stitching, they call it nowadays. We used to call it hand embroidery, they call it slow stitching. I guess that's because everything in the world's so blooming fast. It's quite nice to have something slowish.
That's where I come in.
Yeah. No. I didn't mean to say yeah so quickly. Oh, you know what? This is looking quite flowerish. That's freaky. But I don't want to do too much because I want to wet felt it. So pretty much whatever I do, I'm going to cut out. And it's at this stage, after you've done whatever you're doing, when you're finally doing your embroidery, that you can add your beads, sequins, stones, anything that you want to add, charms, anything like that. Do not add it while you are still doing your felting using the machine. You'll just snap your needles and you'll be very cross with yourself. Whoa, this is turning out rather better than I thought. Not saying I'm a genius here, guys. I'm just saying I'm rubbish and it's turning out all right. Right, I'm going to try and do a top to it. Get fancy. So I'm choosing the colours that are in the journal that we've made. You, of course, will no doubt have completely different colours. I'm going to try and do this one sort of at the top if I can. Get me? There we are. What do you reckon, guys? Have a look at that. I've been sewing. Yeah, no, it's not great. But, you know, it fits in. The whole thing is kind of like that. So I like that, and I like that variegated thread very much. So there you are. More than that about felting, I really can't tell you. I can't tell you that much more because I don't know that much more. But we've now got 3 different ways of felting. I know I haven't shown you how to wet felt, but I have kind of explained it to you. But it is a right rigmarole. So we've got wet felting, we've got machine felting, and we've got hand felting. I love the wet felting. It's gorgeous because it has this lovely feel to it. But this could potentially be nearly there, you know, getting up there. There's a horrible fly flying around. The hand felting that we did over the top, yeah, I like that. It looks softer. I like it a lot. So there you go. Please, if you possibly can, give it a try. You know, just buy yourself a sponge and a felting needle, and you'll get there. And it's enjoyable. It's kind of, as I say, mindful, really, in today's parlance. Okay, thank you very much for joining me. I shall see you on Saturday next, and until then, behave yourselves and I'll be back with videos. So thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye.
Bye, take care everybody. See you very, very soon. Take care. Bye.